then. Okay. Who wants to give a recap?
Well, we started last time realizing Luciorosi's mistake as he unlocked the gauntlets, and the two swords that Kanzi had been using began floating and dripping with venom. But right before they started their attack on Luciorosi, he seemed to have been bolstered and even may have let loose a bit of a laugh as he engaged the swords. Eventually, T-Hole dispelled the magic of the swords, and together we destroyed them, since there was no way that we could properly contain them long enough to understand them or potentially use them as some kind of weapon for ourselves. After that, we entered the chapel where we encountered the Madrid. Is that what it is?
Merid.
Thank
God for Tony, because I wasn't sure what you were referring to for a second. Like Madrid.
I'm dyslexic sometimes.
Was there a Spanish guy? I don't remember.
I know because I had my other party fight one of those things recently, and I accidentally called it a Madrid. Of course, you don't fucking let anybody live that shit down. So,
of course,
Spain jokes.
So yes, the water elemental sadly lacked a Spanish accent, as he informed us that there were demons hiding in the room. Tony Shalhoub then decided to, or saw the escape hatch, and he ran to it, revealing the demons who had been attempting to desecrate the chapel. And we had seen the evidence of their desecration attempts as well, because they left blood and feces on the walls, drawing scenes of very risque content, as well as carving into the wherever they could. As the herald began leaving, the demons then attacked and seemed to be trying to complete some ritual, which Zarius interfered with by destroying the runes upon the floor. At that point, they attacked in earnest, and while we were engaged with them, additional demons appeared, which began striking fear into several of our party. Eventually, we were able to destroy the demons by the skin of our teeth for some of us. I think I ended that battle with maybe 4 hit points before I was able to heal myself a little bit.
Daggerface was also like one good hit away from being knocked down.
Unfortunately, I would have been better off, but I forgot that my character has resistance to necrotic damage. So there was that as well.
Ungrappleable.
Yeah, and I should have been ungrappleable because of the oil of slipperiness, but it just mysteriously evaporated just before that encounter. So then, after destroying those demons, the Merid was quite entertained, sad that we didn't know where his slave girl was, but then proceeded to leave, taking his trident with him that we had seen in the pool, to the disappointment of T-Hole, who was looking for it to try and take. At that point, we began kind of gathering ourselves from the battle, Zarius found the horn that he had been looking for within the altar, and then we were visited by the librarian, and
Well,
time.
before
Well,
that,
actually, no. Actually, before that, the time elemental popped up, going to attack T-Hole, and it managed to age him a few decades, which should have made him like a mummy at that point. But it was eventually destroyed, and then time began to become realigned with the outside world, and so there was that, and then that's when the librarian came, knocked T-Hole into the pool, though saying that it would probably restore his aged years if he sat in it for a while. I forgot exactly what the librarian came in to say, and then but I do know Zarius found the horn. He worked on trying to attune to it. Lucirosi took the bodies of those who were killed in this room and did his best to perform the sacred rites of burial and give them some kind of dignity in their demise, as well as helping. What's your character's name, Peter? Oriel?
Aurelia.
Aurelia. Helping Aurelia like hold up the statues in order to try and mend them. And then we basically took the day to try and gather our strength after the heavy combats that had preceded that, especially since time was being realigned. It was not such a sacrifice to take that time to recuperate.
Yeah, the librarian had come in mostly out of, near as you could tell, curiosity. He mentioned that he could sense that you had cleaned the demons out of the room. So he did mention that you were like leaving behind potions in the alchemical lab, but it seemed as if he was kind of just checking in now that the chapel had been cleared out. And then while he was there, he mentioned that T-Hole could probably get those years back by swimming around in the pool for a while. Although it's many hours of lounging in the pool for T-Hole, who you forgot and strip naked after being pushed in. So his clothes are drying, which is probably why he's not going to be accompanying you immediately when you set off this session, as he wouldn't want to walk around in wet robes.
I really hope that 8 hours in the pool, I hope that pool does something about the wrinklies, because otherwise he's going to come out like a prune.
He was already somewhat prunish. In the pool, it's probably even hard to tell if it's reversing the aging because there is severe puckering. And unfortunately, from firsthand sight, shrinkage, major shrinkage for 8 hours in the pool. So what questions did you want to ask these corpses?
I think I don't know if I need 5 questions. Help me out here, guys.
15, 5 per corpse.
Yeah, I know. I can ask the same. If that was the case, I mean, I could just ask the same corpse, but.
So, in addition to what were they doing there, I mean, some of the questions might follow from the information they give just from that. So we might want to leave some of that open, because you don't need to ask all 5 at casting the spell, right?
What's that?
You don't
I
need
think
it.
I think it's 10 minutes.
Yeah. So
for the spell. So
we might want to save a couple of questions based on the information they provide, just to kind of get more detail. It might also be helpful to know who they are.
confirm 10 minutes. What was your name?
So which one
No,
of these?
no, not what is their name. Who are they?
Where is Mordenkainen?
Open it up a little to allow them to explicate.
Difficult concept for Zarius to grasp. This seems like the same question.
There is a subtle difference.
Where is Mordenkainen?
Dead?
Yeah.
I don't believe.
So which one did you want to ask?
What do we got here? The green one?
The middle one?
Well, wait a minute.
Which one was like? Yeah. So what was the placement?
One of them was mummified and looked like he was killed in the middle of some kind of ritual, sitting upon some kind of chair.
He was in the pew near the altar. That's the one who's propped up against the wall.
Right.
That one may have some kind of significance then.
Or he just died that way. I don't. If it was like a flash killing.
Yeah, you can tell that one's probably female. The others are harder to judge.
Okay. They're skeletons.
Right.
Got number of ribs. There's tells for the bone structure. I'm good at these things.
How wide them hips?
Hip placement. Yeah, all of that.
That's better than number of ribs.
By the way, if we get our full spell slots back, Aurelia and
immediately expends all of his spell slots in the empty room.
Yep.
Attacking the darkness.
I mean, not far off, but at least this way it's beneficial. So each of you get 5 hit points added to your maximum as I cast Aid.
Do we get our maximum back?
Yes, at the end of the long rest. So you were going to...
I was going to do this. I was going to do this before the long rest. So since we have like a long time.
Yep. So yeah, it would be before the aid.
Yeah.
So which corpse are you starting with, and what are you asking?
I will. I guess I'll go with this one.
Mm-hmm.
The
mummified one.
Yeah. We'll start with the question I wrote down here. What were you doing here?
And the corpse, initially the corpse is still, but as the magic of the gauntlet sort of reaches out, you see there is a semblance of the face that this person had in life. She appears to be somewhat older, although her flesh is still clearly rotted. You can see ghostly eyes open up, and the mouth begins to move. There was a party here. We were invited to see the manor, where people get to come inside Eregia's manor. It was quite an honor.
Do we all hear this, or is this just
Yes.
Okay.
Nope. You all see this corpse begin to speak. It's otherwise not moving. It's just sort of laying there. It's not even necessarily staring directly at Sarius, outward in the general direction. but it seems to settle down again. I am the Reverend Sina Fleischman.
I just look to Lucirosi.
Well, had you just asked her name, she wouldn't have revealed that she was a reverend.
I do not believe that is true.
Reverend is a title, not a name. Unless her parents named her Reverend, I suppose.
Ask her that. Ask her if Reverend is No, not any ritual other than the one I was attempting to cast to protect us all and invoke the name, the gods themselves to come save us.
The god of elves, Melora. That's Melora, right?
Yes, Malora created the elves.
Okay. So it seems if that's the case, they were attacked and she tried to protect the people here from what was about to happen.
She tried.
I mean, I don't know if everyone would be able to tell. Zarius would be able to tell that this corpse was probably an elf. Or a very elfy looking half elf.
Good thing Hellweir's in there.
He'd take those ears in a second. Perhaps if that's true, if she tried to protect these people with a ritual from the demons, it may be that she witnessed the events of the demons coming. Perhaps she even saw a Regia act to bring them out.
Try this.
We're in the ballroom when Regia stood up and drew our attention to her. Demons appeared around her and began encasing people in crystal. Like magical energies created lights that flashed as the souls of these people were drawn out and flew into Regia, who grew in size and turned and opened a portal through which more demons came. One of the guests shed her mortal form, her flesh falling from her bones, her eyes sinking inward, and she began to conjure undead that began to feed on the guests upstairs. Most of the rest of us fled. I fled here as the path was blocked by two more guests who had been encased in enormous crystals and whose souls were being fed upon by enormous demons. Several of us were trapped in here, but the demons followed. I could not complete my ritual to save any of us.
That sounds like perhaps Paradana was with Regia when this happened. Maybe that she was the one who shed her flesh. If she had summoned undead creatures, Perhaps it could also be the aspect of Vecna. The librarian had mentioned something about such a creature being able to summon undead. I recall the librarian also mentioned something about demons able to encase their victims within gemstones.
It may be beneficial to know how to defend ourselves against such magic.
I'm not sure exactly how to defend against creatures such as that, but I do know that impactful weapons, such as bludgeoning weapons, are supposed to be effective. Magical, in particular, it's possible. And then there is also, where is that? Yes, but it is best to avoid the gaze of those creatures. They can also throw gems that will encase their targets. So we certainly must be careful against them.
Which creatures?
The demons capable of encasing their victims in gems. They're what likely caused the giant gemstones that we found that Helweir so brutishly kept pieces of.
He's likely older than you now.
Small comforts. Magic, which is capable of shocking and electrifying them, would also be effective. Also be careful if we encounter any gemstones, not to pick them up. Apparently the demons can hide in this way.
You mean like the stones that Helweir took from this place?
You know, I had wondered if perhaps he had brought some of those creatures with him in that way. I warned him not to just take them. I should have been more clear in my warning.
Maybe I should prepare sending and see if I can send him a message. Like, hey, did you happen to bring some fucking demons out with you? I don't know. Think of anything else we could ask? We got one more.
Maybe ask if there were any particular guests of honor, anyone that would have any kind of significance outside of Eredvia that they were expecting here.
What would this knowledge gain us?
Well, it may help us better understand Regia's plans. If there was some particular person here that she especially wanted, Regia wouldn't make such arrangements if there wasn't a purpose to it. Of course, she may have just asked these people here randomly to be cattle for her ritual, but I can't think of any other information that might be helpful to ask. Aurelia, do you have any thoughts?
I'd just like to know where Mordenkainen is.
Child, you've been trapped here for quite some time, but our understanding is that Mordenkainen's dead. Even T-Hole suggested as much.
I'll ask that.
Where Mordenkainen is?
Now, does this former person, believe Mordenkainen is still alive?
Really, Darius, are you going to
Too late.
truly humor this girl?
No, he was buried in a tomb in Pax Gloranthus.
Does that name have any significance to us by chance?
Pax Gloranthus is still the capital city of the Empire.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting. I don't know that we were aware of where he was buried, but I don't know how that helps us now.
Yeah, depending on how worldly you are, probably almost certainly Lucia Rossi would have been there in the center of where this sort of imperial government meets, near where the Senate is actually has its central meeting place. There is a grand monument that's referred to as Mordenkainen's tomb.
Okay. So we have learned nothing new. Well, while we are speaking about things that we might encounter later, I feel I should let you know that there is another form of demon we need to be wary of. The librarian referred to them as pod demons. They are capable of splitting themselves and multiplying. And once they are able to do that, the progenitor of them is able to teleport between himself and swap spots with his minion. They're also, unfortunately, will explode upon death. And the progenitor can also command them to explode.
And you hear from behind you, ask them what other sorts of demons they saw. Maybe they saw other kinds that we'll have to fight.
Well said, Daggerface. Zarius, do you have any other questions? Have you reached the limit of what you can ask this corpse?
Did Zarius hear the crowd? I think you're muted.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh.
I didn't realize I muted myself. All right. I can summon the magics again. I can call upon the same girl or one of these others.
Can we ask somebody who's not an elf?
If these were demons that they were facing, perhaps the one most knowledgeable to ask would be the Reverend. And knowledge of these creatures is not exactly common, but if she were well versed in that particular area of study, it is possible that she would know more of what she had seen if there were other kinds
What's her title?
Reverend.
Oh, Reverend. Okay.
Did you think she was a revenant?
That's what I thought you were saying.
I don't think we need to use magic to speak to her if she were a revenant.
An elf who's a reverend? Sounds kind of suspicious.
In Aurelia's time, that would have been unheard of, unless she was like a reverend in some kind of special, special elven church.
Hmm. Yes.
Aurelia, I forget that you were so tied to this place. I will. You should be prepared to encounter things that might be strange to you.
Like it's a whole new world?
That is one way of putting it. Yes.
Emperor T-Hole, are you okay? I turn like this.
Like
I haven't
this.
heard anything. I'm just making sure he hasn't like collapsed and he's drowning in the pool.
He seems to be fine. And the pool's not very deep, so
Doesn't matter.
it's unlikely that he would just like slide under and drown. Even though he does look somewhat younger than he did when he first got in there, but still probably pretty weak. He nonetheless, like when you address him, immediately stands up to his full height,
Yeah.
water dripping from every part of his body. I'm fine. Feeling a little more spry than I was, though. No, I think I'm going to continue to swim around.
Okay, just checking.
Lays back down.
It's safe. Okay.
Water being channeled through the creases. Yeah, I don't know. Any other what other questions did you want to ask?
I mean, do we want to run through pretty much the same couple for another one and just see what kind of answers we get? And
I get the feeling that most of these answers will be the same. It has been the same story from everyone that we have been able to talk to, that there has been a party that went awry. And now even the dead speak of this party. I would not doubt.
what's the green one look like? Do I recognize the race or anything? Or
Give me a medicine check.
all about the medicine checks?
You're a jack of all trades.
That's right. Boom.
I mean, you can tell that it had to be a medium-sized race, and it's taller than a dwarf. So it's, definitely would not be a child because it's just too tall for that. Definitely, or at least very likely wouldn't be a dwarf because it's a little too tall. It's not very stocky, but could easily be a human. Maybe a little bit on the short side for a human.
Does it look green or is it just the picture?
It does actually look a little bit green, but that is mostly the result of just mold and fungus growing on it.
Okay, that's gross. So Let me go over to one that doesn't look moldy. Just ask this one at the end.
Ask it what?
Well, what were you doing here, and who are you? Maybe they know where Mordenkainen is. I don't believe the elf story.
All right. touch the glove to the head, to the skull.
Yeah, he does.
And similarly, you see something like flesh, ghostly flesh, begins to form over the face of this thing again, and you can see that it does look human and male, somewhat young, but not a child.
Oh, this is
And
better already.
the ghostly eyes open up, and there's a glimmer in them as it stares up at the ceiling.
Who are you?
I was Chalice Knight Clement Anderton.
I just look back. Is Chalice Knight a high title? You're muted.
Would Lucirosi know anything about that title?
You would know that Chalice Knights were essentially an order of wandering knights. Mostly they were paladins, although it wasn't necessarily a requirement. More or less, they were like sheriffs, except that they sort of were given territories to wander to make sure that justice was being meted out. Primarily to drive away, not so much to interfere with the actual law enforcement, but to drive away undead or other corrupted threats.
So, yeah, Chalice Knight is a particular order within the church that watches over areas and ensures that they are safe from threats from the corrupted and the undead.
What were you doing here?
I was invited by Regia Velisvorne, probably because she and I had many conflicts over the years. I was here because I believed she was looking to make peace with me finally, but I was deceived. She had drawn me here merely to kill me.
That does sound like the Regia that we've come to know. I know that she had many conflicts and held many grudges against her peers in the church, especially.
Did you?
Oh,
Go ahead.
I thought you were speaking, but you said. Okay.
I was thinking.
Okay.
Did you witness a ritual in the manor?
I saw no ritual. There was an elf priestess here who seemed to be calling upon the gods, although not in a language I could understand. People were screaming and monsters were stalking the halls, but none seemed to be engaged in a ritual.
if this man was a Chalice Knight, it is possible that he would also have knowledge of the creatures that set upon him and the party. It might be wise to ask him if he noticed any such specifics.
Say again?
He if he's a Chalice Knight, he probably knows at least something about demons and might be able to actually identify some of the creatures that attack them. He might even be more equipped than the Reverend was to identify such things.
Can you identify the creatures that assaulted the manor?
There were many different kinds. Some were large, rocky creatures made of living gemstone, as far as I could tell. The one that killed me was as tall as an oak and brought his hand down upon me, crushing my spine into my lower back, leaving me helpless as he drew the life from me. Others were pools of slime that moved and absorbed and burned people in what seemed to be acid. One was a cloud of bone, that shards of which would pierce the flesh of people, and that had undead abominations walking in its wake. I did not make it much further than the chapel, but it seemed at every turn a new kind of horror was assaulting people at the party.
So that confirms the pod demons, which are, as he described, the pools of slime, at least based on the librarian's descriptions. And the swarm of bone confirms the aspect of Vecna's wrath, which is a creature much as the Chalice Knight described. I'm not sure about the larger one, though. Based on the description, is it possible Lucia Rossi would know what crushed him?
No, that's not really much of a description. Tall as an oak. I mean, the ceiling in this room's pretty high, so probably something that could be described that way would fit in here. But anything that was like the size of a giant could conceivably crush you by just bringing a fist down on you if it was that big.
He also mentioned that it was rocky, though, right?
No, that may have been
thing.
the first thing was tall as an oak. He was describing a second thing that was rocky, and that was probably the gemstone demons.
Oh, okay. I mean, tall as an oak, that could that have been the column demons that we faced when we first got in here?
Could have been. I mean, they were still like no more than 7 feet tall, so that's a pretty short oak.
Okay. So probably something that maybe the librarian is either not aware of or is withheld from us.
Probably.
All right. So that is helpful. That lets us know there's at least one threat that we have no information about, no way in preparing for, other than it is quite large.
I got one more question.
I believe Mordenkainen is still alive.
Aurelia, I can assure you, if this is a Chalice Knight, his opinion and knowledge is going to be that Mordenkainen is dead.
Is that your answer for him?
Yes, it is, John. Yes, it is.
You have questions of the source for Mordenkainen. Perhaps save them for whenever we find the one releasing these creatures into this manor.
Well, I'm sure he's behind all of this. It wouldn't surprise me if he was in league with this elf priestess.
T-Hole says, she makes a good point.
Thank you, Anthony.
One more question. That's me to you guys.
You know what I want you to ask.
Sorry, that's me to Lucia Rossi.
I don't know. Can't think of anything to ask. Kurt, would it be appropriate to do some kind of insight check to see if there might be another question that Lucarosi would know to ask that I don't?
I mean, I would say Aurelia's behind you going, ooh, ooh, ooh. But I would say, based on what you were saying before, you could ask for a clarification on that oak-sized demon.
Yes, Zarius, perhaps to get some more of a description of that large demon.
Right. Or you could, you have all the information that the librarian gave you, so you could seek either confirmation or clarification on something from that.
Lucia Rossi is not really willing to engage the librarian anymore.
Well, I'm just saying you have what he already told you, so you could ask this guy about that stuff. Although some of it he would probably have no knowledge of. The stuff that actually relates to the manor and Mordenkainen, you would probably not know.
So the big as an oak one was the one that killed the guy, right?
Yep.
Tell me more of this creature that killed you.
Its head nearly scraped the ceiling of this chapel. It appeared to walk through the wall. It looked black as coal until you reached its face, where it had an eyeless skull that stared down at me. Its hand looked insubstantial until it struck, when I felt the weight of it upon me. And that was the last I ever felt. The cold that radiated from it drained all of the heat from the room, leaving it freezing. Although I did not have time to experience any damage from the chill before it killed me with one blow. Something similar to that. I mean, the ceiling here, there is a bit of an arch to it, but the ceiling here is taller than most of the places in the manor. And it probably goes up at its highest point to about 45 feet. At the sides, it's probably about 30 feet.
Well, if this creature was able to fell a Chalice Knight in a single blow, then they are certainly formidable.
Or he displeased his god. Alrighty. Does that description sound like anything to us? Aside from that,
You can make a religion check.
I can certainly try. I'm actually not great at religion. Oh, hey, look at that.
I mean, you would know that there are a couple things that could be described in a sort of similar way, but given the size of it, there were reports, at least among your people, when your people were dealing with the cult of Vecna, of there being something akin to what's called a night walker that isn't very smart,
Shit.
but that Vecna would call upon armies of to try to kill populations and turn them into undead.
Okay. Probably a target for us.
I think if Lucirosi knew what I think I know about Nightwalkers, he would run from them.
Well, the good news is I do tend to vary monsters to make them fit the circumstances I need. So I would never like throw you up against like a CR20 creature.
Well, you wouldn't throw us up against it. We might still go looking for that fight, though.
That's true. Especially Lucirosi. Lucirosi be like, wait, let me spend my action points first before we go in this thing to make it fair.
And you use every single spell, smiting. Oh, and first of all, healing every single NPC that is injured that we find along the way.
Right.
It's a fool.
Yeah. And can't forget using up all the charges of the Gem of Brightness and opening a couple of locked chests along the way with the Chime of Opening.
I think I don't think there's much more we can do with these corpses. I think we've got all the knowledge we can get. So I think I'll put the glove away. And then get on with this long rest.
So as you finish up asking questions, again, the corpse, the ghostly flesh begins to fade, and it is once again just a skeleton laying in the corner where Lucirosi placed it. And as you sort of move back to the front end of the room, you notice that the door to the chapel is open, just a crack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lucirosi will go and peer out the crack.
You don't see anything out there, although you do notice that that Hansy is gone. He is not on his table anymore.
Lucirosi is going to shut the door.
So you close the door.
Yeah. I assume the librarian may have cracked it at some point. He mentioned that his telepathy is not as effective if there are closed doors.
And then you can all take your long rest.
right.
So are you going to set a watch during this long rest?
Yeah. You'd be able to get 6 hours. Well, with Daggerface, we can cover it. I'm fine with taking first watch.
Zarius would probably say, have the girl take second watch.
What of you, Zarius? Are you going to be assisting?
I will take last watch. My bones ache.
Daggerface offers to take the third watch. T-Hole doesn't really offer.
No.
He'll conveniently has his ears below the surface of the water as you discuss.
Yeah.
He'll take the watch.
As he's like laying back in the water. Like his fucking junk is sitting there above the water. It's the only thing you see.
You know what's funny is even if Dustin was here, I'm pretty sure that's how he would play it.
So the your rest passes. Zarius, during your rest, you hear very quietly, but your perception is so high. The door opens a crack, and you see the librarian peering in, and he then tries to sneak away.
I stare at him as he peers in.
He just stares back and then tries to sneak away unsuccessfully.
He's like staring. Does he see me? Is he looking at me, or is he looking at the door, or is he looking above the door, or maybe to the side of the door?
I will give it like a couple of minutes and go and shut the damn door.
And as you do, you're aware he's on the other side of the door.
All right, so yeah, I'll close the door and then just lean against it, like put my back against it.
So you wait. It doesn't open up during the rest of your time there. So your long rest is over. Everyone's back. T-Hole announces that he doesn't feel 100% yet, so he proposes that we just, rest another day.
Yeah, T-Hole, let's do that. All right, end of session.
Yeah, we've only been in this manor for fucking months, probably. So, what's 2 days?
T-Hole, that's preposterous. We need to move now. If you're not feeling well, perhaps it would be best for you to just remain here. It actually might be helpful to have somebody keep an eye on the portal.
So he agrees to that. You can see in his eye he's considering asking one of you to stay with him, but he decides against it. Meanwhile, after a full day in here with Aurelia going around and cleaning things up and mending things, the two urns on either side of the pool that were smashed are together. Once again, they probably wouldn't hold water anymore. And the two statues are together. Obviously, they've been shattered at one point, but they're in a humanoid form again. And a lot of the gore, at least on the lower areas of the wall, have been cleaned up. The entirety, although it took a lot of time, the entirety of whatever pentacle or transmutation pentacle that they had around the altar has been completely cleaned up. And so, at least at lower levels, there's still a fair bit of dust from all the broken and smashed stonework, but the room appears to be clean once again. Higher up, once you get out of arm's length, it's still smeared with gore, but hopefully Servant can find some way to take care of that.
All right. I think it would be best now to try and go to the ballroom. It seems that that is the source of everything that's happened here in the manor. And that is also where we're going to have the greatest chance of finding survivors. Does anybody have any thoughts about that?
That is on the second floor, yes?
Yes.
Let us move.
So Daggerface hoists his axe over his shoulder and moves up towards the door.
Just like wait for Lucirosi to see if he moves.
Sorry.
See if he's got control over his token yet. Yeah, there he goes.
So the librarian did mention that there were potions, although Luciorosi's not talented in identifying potions, so he's just going to leave them be. And I will be right back.
I also do not have that. I don't have like anything like that. Anything that would be handy there. Nothing with alchemy or anything.
I mean, investigation would probably be the skill. But since Mike's away, I'm going to go to the restroom, so 5-minute break.
Okay.
I didn't realize I was muted before, but Aurelia is just wishing y'all good luck.
Yeah, nobody heard that.
That's what I figured.
But T-Hole would say, no, you should go with them. Make sure that they remain safe. Especially Daggerface. I may need him to get out of this place.
Are you going to be all right, Emperor?
Oh, sure. I mean, the demons couldn't apparently defile this water, so I should be perfectly safe even if they come back, which I'm not expecting. I mean, they've had a day.
But if anything should happen, I will feel responsible.
Yes, but if anything happens to Daggerface, you can feel responsible as we slowly starve to death in here.
Very well. I shall look after him.
All right. So, as we move into the alchemy lab, do we see anything unusual or different?
You notice that, again, it appears as though Hansy is gone. The machine, however, is still sparking. All the, everything otherwise appears to be as it was. Even the remains of the swords still scattered on the floor where you broke them up.
Okay.
Making your way out, the noxious odors of the lab begin to fade behind you. You round the corner, and you see there's an enormous, what looks to be iron door. It's covered in arcane sigils, the meaning of which is impossible to tell at first glance. It probably would take some degree of study to figure out what they all
Wait, is
mean.
that this thing right here?
No, that's a machine that's shooting off sparks.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a door here.
Oh, okay.
There doesn't appear to be any sort of handle or anything else. It almost looks like it's just an odd metal section of wall.
I'll try and push it.
It does not budge. You're trying to push it.
Roll a con save.
Should we call servant? Perhaps he can open the door.
I'll just look at the door. I mean, see if there's any clues as to how to open it.
Give me an Arcana check. Not that you could see. It looks as if, it's just a question of there must be some trick to opening it, but otherwise it's 100% safe to open this door.
Servant!
Yeah.
So you call for the servant. About a minute later, you see he comes hovering around the corner. Yeah? Somebody call for me?
Yes, we need you to open this door.
Ah, the door is closed? He flies up to it. And then he's hovering in front of it. His eyes don't really move. It's almost as if they're sort of painted on his head. But he's hovering up and down the door, moving side to side as if he's inspecting it. And then you see he turns and starts to fly away.
Is the door open?
Nope. And he rounds the corner again, disappears.
Servant, you didn't open the door.
And after a couple seconds, he comes back. Did somebody call for me? Oh, the door's closed. And he flies up to it. And he proceeds to do exactly the same thing, moving methodically along its surface. And then he turns and flies past you and starts flying down the hallway.
Servant, stop. Wait there. Presumably there's another part to this opening. One that he is programmed to do his bit. To determine the rest.
Can Lustrosi do an investigation check to kind of examine the door more closely?
You can. I mean, you go over all of the various markings on it, looking for some kind of latch. But as near as you can tell, the way to open this door must involve magic, as there doesn't seem to be anything in particular. Whatever the magical significance of these runes on it are, there doesn't seem to be anything that's like a hidden latch.
I cast Dispel Magic on the door.
Okay, so roll me a d20 and basically make a caster level check, and you can add half your proficiency bonus to it.
I guess you would get to add your charisma modifier, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
So that would be 13 plus half proficiency, half of 3, 1.
No, your proficiency bonus should be 4.
Because
It
you're
went
level
up.
9 now.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, okay, 2. So,
Yep.
so 15 total.
Yeah, you do this, and nothing seems to change about the door.
Lustrosi will try and push it again after Aurelia has done her magic.
Nope. No, doesn't budge.
Are there markings on this door?
There are a large number of what appear to be arcane sigils on the door.
And the servants went up to a few of them?
No, he more or less was. It's almost like he was scanning the entire door.
Uh-huh.
Rather methodically, going up and over a bit and down and over a bit.
Did he do it in the same way both times?
Yes, near as you can tell.
All right. Just out of curiosity, and maybe also just to see if there's something that Lustrosi missed the first time around. He'll kind of trace his hand over the runes and the pattern that Servant monitored them, as well as like kind of looking closely at the runes as he does so.
So you do that. It doesn't seem to change anything.
Well, Daggerface, why don't you try touching the door? You're the current owner of the manor. Perhaps it will respond to you.
So he steps up and pushes on the door. It doesn't change it, though. And Daggerface bows his head and then turns and says, apparently he already told you this, but he places his hand on the door and says, Emerdy Meadows. And the door cracks and opens up.
Oh. Sorry, Daggerface. I must have forgotten that bit of information.
Inside, you see there's a skeleton in robes slumped against the wall. There's a wand that appears to be stuck to a clump of its rotting skin. It seems to be wearing a relatively fancy necklace and several rings. As you move ahead, the floorboards squeak. Nobody's walked in here for a long time. You even see there appears to be some small amount of dust that's kicked up as you walk in. Towards the top of the stairs, you can see there's another gem that seems to have a body stuck inside it. But the stairs curve, go up, and then turn off to your right, rising up to the second floor.
All right. Lucirosi will lead the way, making sure that he's keeping Regia's sword out in front of him and ready for an attack.
Daggerface is behind you. Hold on, I have your old token there.
You know, I looked through all that information too, and I must have missed over it.
It may have been in one of the earlier ones. Where are you now? There. Oops.
How's the lighting?
You see that at least at the top of the stairs, it appears to be brightly lit.
Okay. Go ahead and just draggle Torchy into the map here, just because he was here. Oh dang it! I did two of them. Son of a bitch. There we go. Perfect.
As you enter the hallway, you see there's a bubbling mass of liquid that seems to fill the hallway ahead of you. It's about 30 feet long with splatters on either side of the same liquid.
I'm going to use my my divine sense on that.
The whole pool, you sense, it is itself a fiend.
I'm going to whisper to the others, this is the slime demon. We must be very cautious of how we proceed.
I do not see any way but to strike. It is not likely to move.
No, it will. It will break off pieces of itself. Remember when I mentioned the thing that can multiply and have its minions explode? That was this. I'm pretty sure. Is
it just the pool, the big one, or do these small ones resonate as well?
Did my divine sense detect those as Fiends as well.
No, not the little ones. What's the range on that, by the way?
60 feet, I thought. Let me
Yeah.
just double check.
Yeah, that's fine. So no, the little ones at least right ahead of you didn't, nor the one just beyond it.
Yeah, 60 feet. I agree that I think that we should attack, but I don't even know how we would approach that doing so.
This is the servants' quarters areas, yeah?
Yep. So it says on the servant's map.
Yeah.
I feel like we are Peter Venkman staring down at Slimer from across the hall. It's looking at me, Ray.
I mean, I have spells I can hit it with.
Perhaps we should begin our attack on the count of 3, unless you have anything that might hit me, and then I could hold back for you to unleash that power before I go.
Looking. No. So I'll just say no. We will do this now.
All right, before we go, let me just review the knowledge that was imparted to me about these things, see if there's any particular weakness. No, doesn't make any mention of anything specific, just to be careful they explode when you kill them. And as long as there's one of them there, the prime can teleport and swap places with it.
I will put a hand on your shoulder and cast protection from evil and good then.
Ooh, excellent.
Having stared at it for a few seconds, you now see that there is a sort of a ripple that moves through the slime periodically. That doesn't look like it's being caused by anything natural. Although you get the sense that it's probably not that deep. It's probably at most a half inch or so along the floor.
All right. So let's see if I have anything that I want to prepare ahead of time. Probably not. That's not Luthros' style. Yeah, no. All right, so on the count of 3, Daggerface, you and I will go and strike at it while Aurelia and Zarius, you provide magical support.
I will do my best.
Daggerface, are you with me?
I'm ready.
All right.
Perhaps I should have cast the spell on him.
Maybe. Maybe not. All right. So, and with that, Lucirosi launches forward.
So everybody roll initiative. As you run forward, you see this creature rises up as the slime
God
begins
damn it.
to congeal around it.
Son of a bitch, I didn't have myself selected.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Like, it's the first time I've ever done that. I like how Roll20 is states that you fucked up with your initiatives. You wanted to send the result of this roll to the turn tracker, but no valid token was selected.
So it is, other than Aurelia going first, it is like Ghostbusters. Okay, on 3. And then before you even start to run, it roars and rears up. But Aurelia, you get to go first.
All right. Can I get through this spot right here to see?
Yes.
Oh, gross. So I'm going to cast. I would hope. Dissonant Whispers on the big guy.
Okay, what kind of saving throw is that?
It's wisdom. Of course.
Does it take any damage?
Yeah, it takes half damage and doesn't move. So
It's resistant to psychic damage, so it takes even less.
You see Aurelia steps up and begins to sing a song, and magic circles around the creature. It roars into the air, so it seems as if it took some damage.
all right, I'm gonna move back to where I was.
Let's see. Well, it doesn't have a clear line of sight to you, so it just swings its arm out and slime is flung off of it and in the direction of Lucirosi.
Disadvantage?
That's true. It does have disadvantage, so it only gets an 18.
Yeah.
Still a hit.
So this slime hits you and half burns, half poisons you, but mostly it's just the physical impact of it. And these little podlings run forward. And then attempt to strike at each of you. That one's Lucirosi, this one's Zarius, and this one's Daggerface. Oh, hit Daggerface. And Zarius' turn.
Alrighty then. I guess I'll. No, I don't. I can't do that. Damn it! I'm concentrating already. Son of a bitch. All right. I'll do. I don't want to see what this one does. Is that each creature? It sure is. Yeah. All right. I should probably just do Sacred Flame on the one right in front of me.
Is that a wisdom save?
Sacred Flame is a dex. Let me find it here. There it is.
Yep.
That bastard.
Yeah, being liquid, it has a somewhat good dex.
Sure. Alrighty. Let me double check my bonus actions. I don't really have much. Oh, I do have. I might go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do a spirit weapon against the. I'll throw it to the guy in the back. Or let me actually hold on. I don't remember what the distance is on spirit weapon. 60 feet. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So the spirit weapon forms, it misses him, but it's there.
Yeah.
You can put it wherever you like.
There we go.
Lucirosi.
All right. So the slime that's all right here, is it like you can't move through it, or is it like just on the floor, or what?
No, it is a lump, more or less. It's vaguely humanoid, but you can't just move through it.
Well, no, I mean like in the hallway.
Oh yeah, that you could step through. A lot of that, it is now just more or less a thin bubbling layer on the ground, as most of it has formed up into this creature.
Okay, so I'm going to use my bonus action to do Radiant Soul, which gives me a fly speed.
Right.
Which I will then fly up and move over those guys. So I'll take 2 attack opportunities.
Well, one of them hit you.
All right, so I take another 9 damage. And then I will fly to this guy. And then I will begin slashing and punching him. Well, mostly just slashing him because I've already used my bonus action. So
You hit with the first strike.
okay. So with that, I'm also going to then do Divine Smite at 2nd level. And then he also takes an additional 9 radiant damage from my Radiant Soul ability.
So you see the goo that this creature is made of is just sizzling away under the fury of this attack. Daggerface attempts to sidestep. Well, actually, he probably would just try to kill the one in front of him, I suppose. So yeah, he swings his axe at the one in front of him.
Where's this crystal from? Is it like in the ground there?
Yeah, it's another. You can see there's a form of another body inside it.
I'm just wondering how big.
It's pretty small, this creature. So you're guessing it was either, it's hard to make out through the crystal itself, but either a child or more likely a halfling or gnome.
Maybe a goblin slave.
So Daggerface was remarkably ineffective. So he will actually try to run around and then run away. So he's going to take the 2 attacks of opportunity.
God damn it.
And he does get hit by one of them.
Fucking swear, if I get flanked, I get so mad.
Actually, I'm thinking about adding a flanking rule, but I don't otherwise play with it. And the reason I don't play with it is that I feel like there's a couple of abilities that give you advantage on attacks, and that flanking makes it super easy to get advantage on attacks because you can run circles around somebody. So if you get 2 people together, unless there's like a group you're facing, but 2 people around a single target, they can always flank trivially. But somebody, I forget where, but I was reading a bunch of house rules and somebody said that they thought advantage was too strong. So they just make it a +2 to hit, which then makes it sort of mirror the cover rules where you can get +2 your armor class by having partial cover. And then that sort of preserves the ability of like barbarians and I forget, inquisitive rogues, whoever it was who gets it, to get their advantage still. And they could get +2 on top of that. So I'm considering adding that as a house rule rather than the normal flanking rule.
But not now.
I've taken it out of my Wednesday group.
Right. Not now. So
because-
even if they flank you now, it is. I'm introducing that house rule right now just because they're about to flank Lucia Rossi. Or flank Zarius, I mean.
Yeah, because because there's the help action, which is completely unnecessary if you've got flanking advantage. So that's why I took it out.
Right. You know, what would Roughstool do if everybody was getting advantage all the time? So Daggerface being a dwarf and having used his action really only makes it to there and took damage to get there as he screams, Daggerface! And then charges to help Lucia Rossi against the larger monster. And it's Aurelia's turn again.
All right.
You know, I just realized I can move this over into the screen I'm sharing so that people can see people's faces. I don't know if that makes it like Inception, just a web of screens for you.
Screen on screen on screen on screen.
Shit. All right. Well, I'm just going to do Vicious Mockery on this one right here.
Okay. That's a wisdom save. What are you saying? How are you mocking him?
Let's see. Why do people love slime jokes? Because they're great.
Yep.
That'll do it.
Yep. And you see the thing begins to vibrate and bubble upon hearing this legged ball of snot in front of you. And let's see. No, that isn't it. And then it explodes.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
So you and Zarius take damage.
That damage?
Yes. 7 acid, 11 poison.
Finally, my acid resistance kicks in. It's the first time. So it'll be 3 and 11.
All right. Super.
Okay.
the two little ones near Zarius are both going to attempt to attack Zarius.
Nope.
Both missing. And then they will move to flank Zarius just for the hell of it.
Yeah. Because why the fuck not?
I forgot about this. But the big one then is going to lash out and try to slam Luce Rossi, who's buzzing around it like a fly.
Well,
Thank God for disadvantage.
yeah.
And then you see it begins to rumble a little bit, and another little thing is flung to the side and behind Luce Rossi. So Luce Rossi is also flanked, as there is a little thing now.
All right, so I took 4 and 6.
Yes. Well, it's true. Yeah, 4 and 6.
Okay.
And it's Zarius' turn.
Okay, I will do. I'll probably, if I kill him, I'll take some damage, but it's fine. I'm gonna do Word of Radiance. So both of these little guys next to me have to make con saves. Looks like.
Nice. I've always wanted to see that use.
Yeah. I've always been really close to being able to use it, but I don't want to hit the allies with it, so. Nice.
So they both fail.
They both take a whopping 4 radiant damage.
That's not enough to kill either of them, but they both clearly, you see, there's just the slime is burning off of them as they get smaller.
Okay. And then I'll do my spirit weapon attack against that
It's
guy
protection from good and evil concentration.
Oh, yeah, it is. I totally forgot about that.
Don't fuck up. You fucked up.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Well, I might have done slightly different things then at that point, but okay, it's fine. I'll do it later.
You still have your spiritual weapon.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Spirit weapon. Swing.
And it slices into it pretty soundly.
Perfect. And I'm just going to shift up 1 so that I don't provoke.
Okay. Luce Rossi.
All right, so a bit of the sheen on Luce Rossi's armor fades as the protection from evil and good goes away. But Luce Rossi, with his golden wings at his back and his eyes blazing, continues to press his attack. And
They hit.
even
That
thoughts?
one misses. Thoughts
Okay.
misses.
All right. So I'm going to do 2 level 1 smites as well. So, and then he also takes an additional 9 radiant damage from my radiant soul.
A lot of damage. Yeah, he is clearly severely wounded at this point.
I will then use an action point to do another action.
Okay. They hit.
I will not smite. But I forgot. With the Radiant Soul ability, with using the action point, would that apply again? Because it's only one attack per round, I think.
Yeah. I would say no.
Okay, that's fine. All right, that's my turn.
Daggerface runs up. It's not Daggerface's day, but he hits him the second time.
He forgot to yell.
That's probably why he missed.
Yeah.
He yelled last time. He just didn't make it very far.
He yelled before he attacked, or after he attacked. It didn't help him.
Well, he was yelling as he was charging forward towards this thing. So it's Aurelia's turn.
All right. So I move over here, I'll get an attack of opportunity, right? He'll get to attack me.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Son of a bitch.
Sentinel. Oh, wait. I don't got that.
All right, and then I'm going to do Vicious Mockery on him.
On that same one?
Yeah.
So what's the mockery this time?
What's the most famous slime movie of all time? Raiders of the Lost Goo.
And he explodes, dealing 5 acid and 8 poison damage to the area.
Can I just take that as psychic damage now? Alrighty. 5 is brought down to 2.
2.
Yeah, so 10 damage, right? Well, can it be fire? Like acid and fire, that'd be perfect.
What does he want to do? Well, I had forgotten, and so he didn't get to take advantage of this, but he can now that they actually have pack tactics. So he's going to attack Lucerosi since he's got a little podling behind him.
With advantage.
Not very effectively, though.
Nice.
And then
You sure see parries with Regia's sword.
And then you see 2 more of these things appear as he flings them off his body. And then the other little pod demon down in the corner, it also explodes, dealing 7 acid and 8 poison to Zarius.
What? Why? Why did he explode?
He chose to explode.
Lucius yells back, he can command them to explode. I warned you.
But it's Zarius' turn.
Yeah.
And there's none around you anymore.
Cool. That's perfect. Let's see. Double check here. All right. I'll move forward a little bit here. Let's see my distance. Gotta go to at least there. Okay. So Zarius moves forward a couple of steps. Bring an old Torchy with me. And then believe that shit. No, wait. Shit, hold on. That's right. Forgot that's 15-foot ranges. I gotta get up a little closer.
Spirit Guardians?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to step into the thing to get everybody. But I feel like it's worth it right now. So I shall cast Spiritual Guardians. I'll do the damage afterwards, but at the beginning of their turn they have to make wisdom saves.
Yep.
Oh, shit. They're all going to explode on us.
Yeah, well, it's the price you pay.
Is it?
And then this my spirit weapon will go ahead and attack again right quick.
That hits.
It rolls well.
In fact, it kills it,
Oh, perfect.
which causes these little guys to explode.
Yeah. Let's do it. I should have just started with that, I guess.
And then it's the second two that are near you. The first one was between Daggerface and Lucirosi.
Does Lucirosi get hit by all three?
No, Lucirosi gets hit by the first and second one. Daggerface gets hit by the first and third, and
I get hit with the second and
Zarius.
third.
Oh,
Yep.
that's 30. So,
Jesus Christ.
and then minus 8.
And you see up at the end of the hallway where the light is out, but dimly through the light, Lucirosi, you can see, and certainly Daggerface. I don't know if Zarius can see how far away the torch is. Probably dimly see. There is another little podling there that hasn't exploded.
Ah, shit. There's more of them. There's more of them.
Are they moving towards us?
Yes, that little podling at the end of the hallway is moving towards you.
Okay.
How is Daggerface on health?
I mean, he was just got a full rest in, so he's not that damaged, but he's
Okay.
not at full health either.
Okay.
Zarius actually is taking a hit.
Zarius, you need to make a concentration check for the Spirit Guardians, don't you?
Yeah.
Two of them.
Let's see here. What was it? Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about it.
God damn it.
I'll just roll the one.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
You want to use an action point?
Yeah, you can use an action point.
Oh, actually, you know what? Boy, I gotta make another one. Yeah, I'll try it. I'll use one. I'll only use one in this fucking situation. Fuck me.
God damn it. What the fuck is wrong with you, Zarius?
I always maintain concentration. Suddenly I can't.
You are within 10 feet of Lucirosi.
Oh, yeah. So that's an extra something.
Oh, is it a saving throw? It is a saving throw,
Days.
right?
Yeah.
So then you get
that saves me that.
Okay, so you get a plus.
I only need a 10 on both of them, so.
Plus 3.
Perfect.
So you made it.
Sweet. All right. I got it. Guys, we're good.
Awesome.
Fucking hell, man. I'll call back because I don't see
Aurelia.
So there are more coming.
I don't know if we're still in initiative order, so.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Lucirosi, it's your turn. There is a little podling that seems
Right.
to be advancing.
I am going to use my action to lay on hands and heal myself. And I'm going to use all of it because I'm hurting pretty bad.
All of it.
And then let's see. Where's that? All right, yeah. I feel like this isn't, well, yeah, it's not the smart move. But I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna rage. I'm gonna use my bonus action to rage. So then it makes more sense that Luciosi's not taking the smart move. So he roars, and you see a burst of light from him, and then he flies forward. And then he turns and he sees the big one, and he locks eyes on it and prepares to engage it. That's my turn.
Daggerface screams, Daggerface! And he runs up to this one, and he swings his axe at it. That hit. That hit. And it explodes. And Daggerface takes a lot of damage for him.
Doesn't hit Luciosi, though?
No, it does not hit Luciosi.
Right. I just realized I probably should have used my 8 on Daggerface, not on one of the spellcasters. We need him.
Aurelia, it's your turn.
All right. 5, 2. You said this you said this green's okay, right? Like
Daggerface ran through it.
okay, well I'm here. I'm gonna go here because I don't know that. That's gross.
It is definitely bubbling.
Okay, so I'm standing right in front of the green. Do I have?
You actually technically don't have line of sight to any of them because this actually is a stone corner.
Okay. So is Zarius just standing in this green slime?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Is your definition of okay?
Is the slime burning your feet?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what you know about copper dragons and their resistance to acid. But the lion man was up there in the acid too.
Yeah, but I was flying.
Oh, that's true.
Luciosi calls out, Aurelia, do you have any magic that can be supportive?
I can't see any of them. I don't know if I can hold my action till one of them comes into view.
You can.
Well, do you have anything other than vicious mockery?
What? I've taken 2 out with it. I mean, I got a whole list of jokes here. Come on now.
Well, is there anything like the last one?
The last one literally caused it to kill itself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hold my action if I see one like approach dagger. Well, Lucirosi. So
Yeah. I'm just gonna move this one back so that when the other ones move out, they don't go under him. So The big one, which people can't see, is actually going to fling slime at Lucerosi. Well, no, it's not going to do that. First, one of them is going to move out. So you can Vicious Mockery, but you see one is kind of running towards Lucerosi.
Okay. I'm going to hit it with Vicious Mockery then.
It fails. That is not enough to kill it, but
Okay.
but you can see it. It cries a little as you mock it.
Yes.
It then runs up and tries to slam, but to no avail. Another one runs out and runs up to Lucerosi, and this one actually has advantage because of pack tactics.
Just missed, or just hits.
The other one runs out and will try to get Daggerface, but not good enough. He doesn't. Oh no, within 5 feet. So he does hit Daggerface.
That tiny creature is flinging around wildly.
And then the big one will attempt to fling slime, since he now has advantage. Oh,
Damn.
Let's see here. What's my range on this ability? 30 feet. Is he within 30 feet of me? 40 feet. Fuck. Now, sorry, man. You're getting
That's
critted.
fine.
I tried.
No worries.
so it's 31 damage total.
I'm really glad that I used lay on hands on myself.
Did you say?
But
Oh, wait a minute. Some of it's bludgeoning damage. So, no.
That's
So then
true.
that's, so I get another 6 back. Boom. Rage.
Yep,
What's for dinner?
and it's Arius' turn.
Did you say you used some of that? Heal. Something.
I'm sorry?
on me? Just confirming. You said something about using 8 HP on something. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
He laid on hands on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I healed my own wounds.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Move my spirit weapon forward. Then I'll go 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. And then so that'll put all 3 of those guys within the range of my so maybe I'll heal somebody here. How's everybody looking exactly?
I'm a little bit less than half.
Okay. So you could take a hit. What about how's Daggerface looking?
He is just at about half.
Okay. So I may have a turn. I should probably do it just to be sure. It would be unfortunate to use it now, but can I see this thing now?
You might be able to just see the big one.
Like I see him on my screen.
Right, but there's this whole corner in the way. Let me see.
All right.
No, you can't. You just barely can't see him.
Okay. Can't make that a wall part, huh? Okay. Very well then. All right. I'm gonna use. Because how many people are here? Are you within 30? No, you're in 35 feet. That's a shame. Well, Aurelia has not been hit, though, right?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah.
She
All right.
took some exploding goo in the face.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I don't think I can quite wait. So I'm gonna cast. So here we go. Mass Cure Wounds. Centered, I guess, on me. Healing me, Daggerface, and Lucirosi. Or no way, actually, I could do it. I can actually off-center it a little bit.
Yep.
And get us all. Yeah, because that's a 30-foot radius.
Yep.
Yeah. So I can heal us all here for 3d8 plus 4. Plus 4, yeah. 3d8 plus 4. 6, 8. Nice. We all get 19 HP.
Thank you, Magic Dragon.
All right. Hopefully, save us a little bit, or save you guys a little bit from the impending explosions.
Well, I don't need to deal with that. You'll see why.
Okay.
Lucirosi's turn.
All right, so I know that these guys have pack tactics, but Lucirosi doesn't. So he can't take the route that would deny one of them, but he will fly this way. So he'll get 2 attacks of opportunity on him, avoid this guy, and then fly right here at this guy. No, only 1 hits. Nice. All right, and then I will begin unloading on this dude. And now I'm raging, so I get my additional snappy steps. Excellent. I am totally going to use a smite on that one.
Okay.
So then... Oh, wait, no, that's wrong. I did level 2. I wanted to do level 1.
Nice.
So then that is plus 24 plus 9. So that's plus 33 radiant damage total. So let's see. That first one didn't hit, I assume, right? The 12?
Right.
So then we got 30 damage from my sword, another 9 from thoughts, so that's 39, plus 15. So that's, what is that calculator when you need one?
It's 54 so far.
Okay, so we got the, wait a minute, I did.
Plus the extra 24 because it's a crit on the smite.
Right, and then plus 9 radiant from my radiant soul ability.
Right. So there is a gurgling howl as you lay into this creature, almost sort of forcing the mass of it back on its heel as it has to shoot an extra pseudopod out of itself to hold itself up under this. But then it steadies itself and rocks forward again.
All right. Well, I think so. I'm using my last action point to do another attack.
I'm going to give Daggerface a chance to get out of there.
So,
Wow.
Well, 24
that's
hit.
interesting. All right, so another 10 slashing damage. I will not be smiting. That's my turn.
So Daggerface almost half-heartedly says, Daggerface, and then brings his axe down on the one in front of him and hits, causing it to explode, which is what he knew would happen.
Get the fuck out of there. Just disengage and back the fuck up.
I know this is going to hurt, but Daggerface!
And then he swings at the second one.
God damn it, man.
But so half-hearted that he misses. He will then step up and suffer the attack of opportunity as he moves around to this guy.
Is he trying to kill himself?
Trying to stay in the fight. Aurelia.
Do vicious mockery again on the one I hit before.
So what's this mockery?
What do molds, ooze, and lawyers have in common? They're all slime.
He still seems to have not exploded, so there's that. But it did sort of vibrate in an unpleasant way when it heard your joke.
Might one say undulate?
And then it disappears.
Fuck.
As does this one. So.
Well, they got to make saves.
Oh,
That's true. So before they disappear, this one actually just explodes. Being hit by the one here definitely explodes where it is.
Okay.
So, but nobody's in range for it to hurt. Actually, that was the other one. And then the second one has to make his save, wisdom save. So made the save. So
Half
what's
damage.
his? So,
It's radiant.
yep. So then he moves up here, and he attacks Daggerface, and he hits because he has pack tactics.
Oh, fucking hell.
What does he want to do? Well, the larger pod demon is going to shift and go after the one who's more dangerous to him.
both hit. When you do the resistance, do you round down or up?
Round down.
Okay, so 4, 12.
And then as he does so, as he slams pseudopods into you, there's a vigorous shaking and more of these little podlings come flying off of it.
Does that one
And
have
it-
to Make a save.
Gurgles a little laugh. I would, yeah, sure, why not? I'll say that counts as entering it, although sort of just form there. Dude, I don't even know if that's good for you or bad for you at this point.
Are they immune to their own damage? Because otherwise he's exploding on his
They
friends.
are immune to their own damage. And immediately it explodes.
All right.
I'm so glad that Zarius has Revivify for Daggerface.
Yep, I sure do.
Covering Daggerface in slime. And then it just oozes into a puddle. And it's Zarius' turn.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Just to be sure here, he's probably fine. There was the one that started here.
Right.
He had to go through difficult terrain because the Spirit Guardians is difficult terrain. I'm sure he probably had enough movement still to make it over there, but just wanted to be sure.
There. Yeah, he did. He used up all of his movement basically to get there, I think, but he made it.
Yeah, because most
it
people
wouldn't actually
there.
even if he wound up here, it wouldn't actually have changed the round. So, but I think
Indeed.
he had enough.
Okay.
So it's your turn.
Yeah. I will go ahead and I guess if I can step forward here. 5, 10. Why I don't know why oh god damn it. I somehow got my spirit weapon here. There we go. 5, 10, 15. Probably go here actually. Yeah. And then all right. Okay, so I'm going to step forward here and do a cure wounds, I guess. Or you know what? How's Daggerface looking?
Below half. In fact, about a third.
My healing's so much more effective whenever you're down. So
I therefore attack Daggerface.
So I think I will. Let's see here.
Just don't make exceptions to your spirit guardians next time.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just do a sacred flame on the fat fucker over there. Fuck, come on, man. Roll better. What the fuck?
I'm actually really glad you didn't roll better because I don't want 3 of these guys exploding in my face.
You're fine.
Am I?
Again, I heal way better when you're down. This is what happens when you travel with the Cleric of Osiris.
Lucius' turn. You can move your spiritual weapon.
Oh yeah. 5. Can I go through here, this corner? Like from here to here?
Yeah.
10, 15, 20. Perfect. Swing! I'm going to kill this motherfucker.
That misses. Oh, 14.
I haven't rolled yet.
Yeah. I was looking at the wisdom save.
Yeah. Spirit weapon. Attack.
That hits.
Yeah.
Don't be dead. Just be close to death.
Yep. So it begins to dissolve into a pool.
God damn it!
And 3 of these things. First one between Daggerface and Lucerosi. Then the one that's next to Zarius.
This one hits all of us.
And then the one that only hits Lucerosi.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. So that first one is 17, which brings me down to 24. And then that second one is another 17, which brings me down to 7.
Daggerface hit 0 with that one.
So I'm at 0.
Nope, he's actually at -2, but he hit 0 and stops.
And I'm at -10.
All right. So 6 seconds go by. Whenever it's my turn, I guess. I could.
Yeah. Now we're out of rounds, so you're free to act.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and just spare the dying on both of them. I could do it twice in a round. So, because I could use it as an action and a bonus action. So you're safe. And then, let's see. Man, it's a shame I couldn't wait to use my mass cure wounds. Oh wait, hold on. What is my? Damn it! It's only third level for the Pearl of Power. Son of a bitch. Okay. Well, I'll use 3rd level cure wounds on, I guess, Lucerosi.
Yeah. You also have to make a concentration check for the Spirit Guardians.
I mean, are we being attacked?
No, but it does last a long time. So I don't know where you're going next.
Does it last a long time?
10 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good here. I don't actually have to roll for the damage, by the way. You just take max for the healing.
Which is what?
Let's see here. I did it at 3rd level, so that would be 3d8 plus 4.
So 28. 24, 20, yeah.
And then I'll Pearl of Power. Use my Pearl of Power to get that spell slot back. And then I'm just gonna use a 1st level on Daggerface for now. So that'll be 8 plus 4, so 12 damage, 12 HP for him.
So his eyes flutter open. What happened?
You fought well.
We got exploded on.
I got slimed.
Oh, my head. Is it over? Are they done?
So you wake up. You're in the hallway. You're in is darkened. You can see there are a few other body-sized crystals, at least small body-sized crystals, in this hallway. Although the paintings in most of the manor, that at least after you've left the first couple of rooms, have been destroyed, they seem to be in decent order here in this hallway, along with the rugs that cover most of the length of it. One end is completely dark. There doesn't seem to be any light off to the right side. Off to the left, you can see there's sunlight streaming in, and you can hear the sound of birds and wind blowing through trees. And there's a sound of waters flowing from what is clearly a large crystal fountain that looks like it's in the center of a garden. There's a figure of a wizard, a statue, is standing atop a pedestal from which the water is pouring.
I have dark vision, so does that pierce the darkness to the right?
It does. You don't see anything down that hallway, though, other than there is a doorway that leads essentially off to what would be the south
Okay.
on the left side. According to the servant's map, that leads to the game room and gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to get around the slime, like climbing on the side or anything, or no?
Yeah, there's no handholds on the side. If you have some way of clinging to the side of a wall, but otherwise it's sort of wood paneling.
Okay.
So Lushrosi
Ah.
looks to the others and say, I was quite badly hurt in that last battle. I think we should use caution moving ahead.
Should go back and long rest.
Perhaps we could rest shortly in one of the servants' rooms. They were just back there.
Well, there may be danger, but yes, let's go check. All right, so Lushrosi will follow Zarius and Aurelia.
So does it look like Daggerface is unharmed by going through the slime?
Yes. But pressing in, you can see that this area of the manor is somewhat different than the rest. There are a lot of doors in this area. They're all pretty closely packed together. Every room in here you can see is pretty dusty. It's not necessarily unclean, but in fact, you gather quickly, or at least Zarius gathers quickly, that the dust may be what remains of the people who died here, as some of the piles of dust have fragments of bone that look as if they are incredibly aged, many centuries of aging potentially. Otherwise, you can see this is pretty poor living quarters where they really pack them in as tightly as they can. The largest of the beds is no more than 5 feet long. At the far end of it, you see there are 4 essentially toilet facilities that are packed into one room, no sense of privacy, and there's a small bathing area adjacent to it, which is down over in this, at the end of the hallway here.
So maybe I was right. Goblin slaves? Goblin slaves.
Now, all of the rooms also have, you see, there's a rack on the side. Every room seems to have the same number of, as there are beds, there are wands in these racks.
I will find a bed that will accommodate my size, I guess.
That's not going to happen.
Absolutely none of them are long enough for a medium-sized creature unless you like ball up a bit. You imagine either they slept curled up or people slept with like their legs hanging off the edge of the bed. But
I mean, like,
clearly
I could sit on them, right?
Yeah, sure, you could sit on them.
Yeah, I'll just.
I mean, a lot of them, have the dust of bones on them, but you could find one that doesn't have that.
I'll just have a seat on one.
Or like Aurelia, you wouldn't by chance be gifted with the arts of healing, would you?
What do you need, Mr. Scratches?
Well, I was just wondering if perhaps you might be able to provide additional health and vitality to myself and Daggerface. We were both quite injured in that battle.
I might be able to help you. Oh, you mean now?
If you have the capacity and the inclination, it would be appreciated.
Okay. All right, so I will cast. However the hell that shit was supposed to work. Is that 11 total then? Cure wounds.
At what level?
Second.
So it should be an additional D8 roll plus your spellcasting modifier.
Okay. So another D8 roll.
Yeah, it's not upcasting for you for some reason. Oh, there it is. I see it now. Oh, there. Okay, it did it right. So 3 plus 8, so 11.
Daggerface, who's not very tall, drags two beds together so that he can flop down on them. Tearing the sheets off of one of the beds so that he can like wipe the goop off of him.
Yeah, Lucirosi, you would see him kind of do one of those sort of dog shakes.
He then begins to play with one of the wands, although he's in a different room than you, so he can play with his wand in private.
Of course. As it should be. Zarius, how much time do you need in order to recover? Huh?
You're muted.
Fuck. I would rather not use up more of my spell power than necessary.
Oh, I forgot. We can spend hit dice. I'm going to do that.
Exactly. Provided we are uninterrupted for this hour.
Right.
And
provided your PC's Daggerface doesn't have hit dice.
The Constitution bonus is added to each hit dice spent, right?
Yes.
I can do Song of Rest, right? And get another D8.
Yeah.
That would be helpful. Is that D8 total, or is that for the...
It's at the end of the long rest. You get a D8, yeah.
All right. So
Doesn't always sound like much, but it does add up. Alrighty.
I'm gonna spend.
It said short rest. You get the D8, I think.
Yep.
So I get plus 13.
Fuck yeah, dude. rolls earlier. And just one.
3, 2.
2.
And then it's an additional D8 that we get.
Yep.
Nice. All right. Blue Rosie is looking much better.
Yeah, I rolled 4 dice and rolled a 10 and 8 and 10 and 8. My Song of Rest, however, was not quite as effective, but still doing all right.
Song of Rest was awesome for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aurelia.
You're welcome, Mr. Scratches.
I do not believe I felt the power as he did.
Well, it's not as effective on Magic Dragons.
Does Daggerface get the bonus of the Song of Rest at least?
Yeah, I'll give him that much. He already has 12 hit points. How many hit points does this man need?
How many? Yeah.
Daggerface is walking from room to room collecting wands.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he had disadvantage because he was handling his wand. He only got one.
During this rest, could I spend another bit of time with the horn?
Sure, if you forego the healing.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll wait.
Actually, I'm going to spend another hit die. Because you never know if there's going to be another tomorrow, right?
Sure. Why not?
But as the rest ends, it's a fair place to end the session. I don't want to go past 1.
Yeah.
Zarius, if you've got that extra quarterstaff, I'm going to take it if I can have it. Did we talk about that last time?
He gave the quarterstaff to T-Hole. You wouldn't deprive T-Hole of his staff, would you?
I mean, what did I have here?
At least the one that could cast Bane was given to T-Hole.
Yeah.
I just need just a regular quarterstaff.
I don't have like an extra one in here. I have like a demon wood one and then my serpentine one. And yeah, I don't care how much I like you. I'm not going to give that to you.
What about I guess then I would investigate these rooms and see if I could find something I could use as a club, like a piece of wood or something.
I mean, I'm sure you could find something that could be used as a club, like break off a bed leg.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
So in a very hell weird moment, you begin to hear this cracking sound.
With all my 9 strength.
Right. And then Aurelia asks if anybody has a club so she can break this bed up and turn the leg into a club.
Aurelia, what are you doing?
I need another weapon.
Do you not? You, I guess it doesn't surprise me that you were trapped in that painting or that mirror without a weapon.
I mean, she's got weapons on her. She's just looking for a wood club.
Wait,
No.
so what specifically do you need a wooden club for?
So I can cast Shillelagh.
I know not what you speak of, but you do so with very much enthusiasm, so I trust you know what you're doing.
That's how they said it back in the olden days.
Here, Aurelia, allow me. So Blue Shorosi will use either thoughts or prayers to break one of the legs off of a bed, something, and then hand it to Aurelia.
All right.
Yeah.
I got my...
It winds up being much more quiet as he is able to break it in a single crack, as opposed to more or less just beating large sections of it around the room, trying to get it to crack.
Bed leg club.
So you have your club. The long rest passes, and we will pick it up there.
Is it a long or short?
Sorry, short
Short.
rest passes.